day for football here at Doucette Field, and boy, what a matchup we have this afternoon with Boston College High coming in to invade, and both teams 1-1 on the young season.
And the Redmen coming off a very disappointing home loss last week in the hands of the Methuen Rangers. The defense was the main focus point in last week's loss, allowing over 400 total yards on defense, including 285 yards via the ground. That's over 7.5 yards per carry in the loss. And now we look at the other side of the field. BC High, known for its great football players coming out of that high school. Bill, what do you expect to see out of them today?
Well, one of the things I expect to see is a thirst for revenge. These two teams met last year in a great early season game. Tewksbury came out with a huge 12-0 upset win on the road at BC High. The Eagles are going to be coming in here looking for payback, and they have got we were talking before the broadcast, a huge line offensively, defensively, and it is going to be a handful for Tewksbury, especially defensively. As you said, they gave up over 400 yards of offense, well over 200 yards on the ground, and this is a BC High offensive line that's considerably bigger than Methuen last week.
And as we welcome the Tewksbury Redmen for the field for the second time this season. So as Bill said, the defense definitely going to be a big focus point this week. Let's see what Coach Brian Outward does to make his adjustments to face this heavy offensive line of BC High. As we were talking, as we sent it over to PA announcer Joel McKinnon.
Non-league matchup between the Tewksbury Redmen and the Boston College High School Eagles.
As the Eagles coming out of the locker room to enter their side of the sidelines, as they will look eye to eye with the Redmen following last year's loss. As they said, it will be a big revenge game for them today.
Absolutely, and one of the things about BC High, they always have tremendous depth, and one of the things that they can do on both sides of the ball is they've got guys who are playing just one way. They're just playing the offensive line or just playing the defensive line, and that can wear down an opponent like Tewksbury that has a bunch of guys playing two ways.
And which is tough to see, especially because, as we were saying before, the offensive line combined of BC High is a height of 6'3", and 254 pounds on the offensive line. That's just an average and just an unbelievable number that the Redmen have to contain today, especially what we saw last week at the hands of Connor Bryan in that Ranger offense.
This is a talented Boston College High team coming in here. They are certainly not unbeatable. They opened the season with a loss, a fairly big loss to Mansfield, 31-10. They bounced back last week and trounced Marshfield, 34-13. So they can be had, they can be beaten, but it's going to take pretty much an error-free game by Tewksbury to stay with the Eagles.
And as we definitely saw in last week's loss, they're going to have to contain the many options that an offense can bring, as the BC High quarterback Bobby Weinzenheim will get the start today for the BC High Eagles. He did not play in last year's loss to the Redmen. It was the backup last season, Joey Brink, who got the start and couldn't put any points up on the board against that Redmen defense that mostly took them to the Super Bowl last season.
Weinzenheim is a talented passer, and he can pick apart a defense if given an opportunity. Last week against Marshfield, 14-23 for 241 yards and 3 touchdowns. However, he was contained in the opener against Mansfield, and that was largely because they were able to put a pass rush on him and make him make quick decisions, not sit comfortably in the pocket. And so Tewksbury is going to be looking to try to put some pressure on.
And if the Redmen do enhance the moment right now and have to put pressure on the QB, he will not have any room to go, and that's what the Redmen want to see in this matchup today.
It'll be interesting to see how they look to how Brian Aylward looks to put pressure on the quarterback, whether he's going to take some risks, whether he's going to blitz, try to use his speed from the corners, because as we've said, just coming straight at him man-to-man, it's going to be very, very difficult.
And now that we've talked about the defense a lot in the start of the broadcast, let's move over to the offensive side for the Redmen. They had a tough offensive day last week as junior quarterback Ryan Armetta only had 107 passing yards, including 2 interceptions.
Yeah, he's going to be looking to bounce back, but I think in this game, Brian Aylward will be looking to try to take some of the pressure off of him as a passer and try to grind it out on the ground a little bit.
And as we just heard from the PA announcer, Joel McKinnon, the Redmen have won the opening coin toss and will defer to the second half, as we will see the Boston College High School Eagles offense first to start the ball game.
This is what a tremendous, we talked about this last week, that Brian Aylward likes to do this. He likes to do the Belichick move of deferring, getting the ball at the beginning of the second half. But after the beating that his defense took last week, this is a real statement. This is a bold statement on his part to put his defense out on the field right away against a high-powered Boston College high offense. And so he's just showing the confidence that he has in his team. And let's see if they can back up their coach's confidence.
And we'll now turn it over to the TMHS marching band for our national anthem today.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats for the playing of our national anthem by the Tewksbury High School marching band.
And as Bill said at the beginning of the broadcast, another beautiful day here at Doucette Field, around the same game temperature as last week. A very sunny 78 degrees here at kickoff with very little winds so far. It might pick up, but nothing expected so far in the forecast.
One of the other notes, talked about the beating that the defense took last week, and Brian Aylward putting his defense out on the field right away. The first 2 games of this season, in both games, Tewksbury has given up a touchdown on the opening drive for the opponents. So for Brian Aylward to show confidence in his defense, this is no small gesture on his part. He is putting it right out there to them and saying, this is your game, boys. You need to step up.
And Keogh will send the ball the distance of the field. It is caught at the 10-yard line. And it'll be brought out to the 20, brought past the 25, taken down, and a flag comes late down on the play.
Looks like we may have gotten a block from behind, and they're going to push. Yep, it's going to be a hold and pushing BC High back to start their opening drive.
That was Michael McGalley on the return for the Eagles. And that holding call will bring the Eagles back to start their first drive of the game as we take our first look at Eagles quarterback Bobby Weisenheim.
Looks like they'll be lined up to, well, they haven't set it yet. They'll be lined up for about the 15-yard line to start their opening drive. Looks like about the 17-yard line. So, tough field position for BC. We'll see if Tewksbury can keep them pinned.
So Weisenheim will start his opening drive in the shotgun formation. It's a handoff to the right side. It's Brendan Casamager, who's got some room to the outside, but a great defensive play by Will McKay on the outside.
BC first play. We have a handoff.
Casamager is a truck. 6'1", 220 pounds. They need to be doing some gang tackling on him. Arm tackling is not going to be getting it done.
So gain of about 7 yards on that opening play for the Eagles. That is it, another handoff left to Casamager as he is tackled right at his feet by number 3, Shane Elward.
Nice tackle on the play by Elward, grabbing him a hold of the legs, but the pressure that blew up the play was by number 9, Danny Fleming, who got into the backfield to blow that play up.
So a big early third down test for the Redmen, as it is 3rd and 3 as the Eagles don't gain anything on that play. So first third down of the game is another handoff to Casamager up the middle, and they will give him the first down on the play, a run right up the middle.
That was a nice play defensively. They held him to just a couple of yards, but it was enough for the first down. But so far, the Tewksbury defensive line, the linebackers, are holding their ground against the bigger offensive line of BC High.
Looks like what the Eagles are going to do today, what the Rangers did to the Redmen last week, a ground and pound, keeping the ball on the ground, as it is a pass play here to the right side, is Weisenheim to the right side and keeps going is number 10, Jacob Perez down the right sideline. Did he beat his defender? What a great tackle on the edge there by Tyler Keel, but a great gain for the Eagles to put him in the red zone.
Those are those type of big plays that Tewksbury needs to avoid. Touchdown saving play by Keel, but BC High down in the red zone again on the opening drive. This is looking all too familiar right now for Tewksbury High. And
just a simple, quick out route to the outside, and the Eagles are in great position now to put some points on the board. 1st and 10 from the Redmen 18. It is a play-action pass. Pass will go to the right side to Mullally, as he will get pushed out at around the 16-yard line.
BC High going right away to a no huddle, trying to keep Tewksbury back on their toes.
Be another shotgun snap, handoff to the left side to Casamager, who will stiff off a man and will be taken down around the 11. It's going to be a 3rd and short for the Eagles.
Nice tackle by Will McKay. Again, going at the ankles, going at the legs. That's what you want to do. You don't want to tackle a big back like that up around the shoulders.
So BCI in another 3rd down position here, as it is a 3rd and 1 as they converted on their only 3rd down earlier in the drive. It's going to be a play action pass to the left side, and that'll pick up another Eagles first down.
Just a quick little misdirection. The play action on the fake handoff, and nothing too fancy there. Just putting it in the hands of one of their talented wide receivers, Mike Mullally, and getting the first down, and now it's 1st and goal to go.
So Mullally with his 2nd reception of the drive, is now it is a 1st and goal for the Eagles on the Redmen 9-yard line. It's going to be a handoff up the middle to Casamager, and he will get into the end zone for an Eagles touchdown.
Quick little trap up the middle, and a gaping hole that probably, frankly, Andrew, you or I could have run through. That was a huge, huge hole, and a quick 6-0 lead for the Eagles.
And for the 3rd straight game for the Redmen, the defense has allowed a touchdown on the opening drive, and a tough start for the Redmen defense early on in this game.
And frankly, this is not the type of a team that you really want to fall behind. They are a tough team to play catch-up against.
So Matt DeVita's kick is down, and it is good, and the Eagles have a 7-0 lead with 8:12 to go in the first quarter of play.
Well, we had a chance to see that huge, powerful offensive line for BC High on that opening possession. As you said, averaging 6'3", 254 pounds across, led by left tackle Ozzie Trapillo, and who is headed to Boston College, where his father played in the 1980s, was part of the Flutie era team, and went on to play professionally for the New Orleans Saints in the NFL. And Ozzie Trapillo, 6'8", 270 pounds, and he is just he is a house, and he is going to create problems all day long for the Redmen.
So the Redmen, as we said, for the third straight game, allowing a touchdown on their opening drive. But last week when Methuen scored on their opening drive, the Redmen returned the kickoff for a touchdown to tie it up at 7 apiece. So maybe we can get another situation like that as Elward and Keogh are back at the Redmen 10-yard line to receive the kick, as it seems the ball has fallen off at the tee, and Davia will tee it up again.
A little bit windy out there today, so the wind blew the ball off.
DeVito will check his receivers as he will send it to around the 20-yard line of the Redmen. And that is Danny Fleming with the catch, and a great return from the sophomore, Danny Fleming.
Boy, that was a nice return, and a nice job by Michael Kelly, who was back deep for the kickoff, and when he didn't get it, when it went to a short man, he came flying up and laid a beautiful block.
So Fleming puts the Redmen in a great field position to start the drive as Ryan Rometta steps on the field for the first time in the ball game, as he'll take the snap, 5 wideouts. It was caught by Shane Elward down the right sidelines. He stiff-armed a man. Down the sidelines he goes, still trying to break off a tackle, and it'll be taken out of bounds inside the 10-yard line. What a run by Shane Elward.
Well, when you need to make a statement, you put the ball in the hands of your best player, and immediately put in the hands of Shane Elward. One quick sidestep and down the sidelines, and almost a horse collar tackle. But this puts them inside the 10-yard line. First and goal to go for the Redmen.
And he took Louis Timmons a good 15-20 yards to put the ball inside the Eagle 10-yard line. And what a great answer so far for the Redmen. Let's see if they convert on first and goal. So it'll be Olu in the backfield, Rometta under center. It'll be a handoff to Olu. Up the middle he goes, and he will get into the end zone. Kalu Olu with his second touchdown of the season.
What an outstanding job of blocking by the left side of the Redmen line. They opened up a gaping hole. Olu, a big back himself, but he was untouched and just coasting into the end zone. And just like that, 2 plays, the Redmen a PAT away from tying this game up.
What a great drive from the Redmen. As he said, only 3 plays it takes the Redmen, and they're just an extra point away from tying it up. A very quick drive of only 34 seconds for the Redmen. Keogh's PAT is going to be blocked at the line of scrimmage, and the Redmen have the chance to tie it up, but the kick is blocked, and it is still 7-6.
Not quite sure what happened on that, but Keogh, normally a reliable kicker, it just never got off the ground, and was very low right off the foot, and it was an easy block for those big BC High linemen.
So now with 7:38 to go in the first quarter, the Eagles have the 7-6 advantage over the Redmen, as we will get to see the Redmen defense. Another test, as the Redmen only trail by 1 now after the quick drive.
That big play on the pass from Rometta to Aylward, which was pretty much all entirely done on Aylward's part, just under 50 yards. We mentioned that BC High can be had. One of their big weaknesses is they are susceptible to giving up big plays. They don't necessarily read and react well. against Mansfield in their loss earlier this season, they gave up touchdowns of 29, 64, 48, and 79 yards. So this will be interesting to see if the Redmen can put a few more big plays on the board.
So Keogh will send a nice kick just inside the 5-yard line. The Eagles will take it out as sidesteps a few defenders. A lot of room open on that right side.
Number 15.
And number 15 again, Michael McAlley with another great return for the Eagles, putting them in great field position after the long kick from Tyler Keogh.
Well, the Redmond defense did not have much time to dwell on that opening drive when they gave up the touchdown. They're right back out there again and see if they can do a better job on the second drive. Interesting what we're looking at over there. It looks like they've shifted defensive end Richard Markworth from the right side where he was lined up against Trapillo, and he's on the other side now. So they've switched him up. That's going to be interesting to see how he does on that side of the line.
So the Eagles drive will start at the 38-yard line as Wiseman-Hine back in the shotgun formation. Another handoff to Casamajor, who's got a hole up the middle, as they will not give him forward progress on that play as he was stopped around the 43-yard line.
And that was immediately right behind Trapillo. It's Owen Gilligan who's lined up, has the unenviable task of facing the big man, and he got moved off the ball that time.
So another handoff to the right side. Casamajor will get to midfield and another Eagles first down.
Well, this is something that you talked about before the broadcast. That last week, Methuen was picking up huge chunks of yards on the ground, especially on first down. So you just perpetually had 2nd and 2, 2nd and 3, and we're seeing that again, where BC High is just ripping off big chunks on first down.
So Eagles back in another first down at the 50-yard line. Weisenheim will take the snap. He looks down the middle, and it is caught by his star receiver, number 2, Carter Rice.
That's the first time we've called Carter Rice's number, but I doubt that it'll be the last time. 20-yard pickup on a nice post pattern.
And a great catch by the verbal commit to Dartmouth College. Another first down for the Eagles. Pass to the left side. Open is number 11, Aiden Sullivan, who beats the defender down the left sideline. Pushed out of bounds by Shane Elwood, but a great move from Aiden Sullivan.
Actually, I think that was number 10, Jacob Perez on that, and he was wide open. There was nobody within 10 yards of him when he caught the ball.
So a great route there, as you said, by number 10, Jacob Perez, on that. It'll be a 1st and goal to go for the Eagles at the Redmond 2-yard line. It's a play-action pass to the left side and a great tackle there by number 4, Kyle Dorigo for the Redmen.
Dorigo in on that play, and Tyler Keogh in on that play. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
So no huddle here for the Eagles, and that is quarterback Bobby Weinzenheim with the QB sneak as he goes right in the end zone, and another touchdown for the BC High Eagles.
Well, again, unfortunately, just too easy on that drive. This half for the Redmen starting out a lot like the first half against Methuen last week. They've got to find a way to get an answer.
So the Eagles have put touchdowns on both of their drives to start the game, and the second extra point from DeVita is good, and with 5:28 to go in the first quarter, the Eagles have the 14-6 lead over the Tewksbury Redmen.
Another quick touchdown by the Eagles, and now you're putting the pressure right back on the Redmen offense to answer. This is not the kind of game that Brian Elwood wants to get in with BC High. He really, against a high-octane offense, you do not want to get into basically a gunslinging match where they're just going up and down the field, because BC High just has too many weapons through the air, on the ground. Tewksbury needs to find a way to slow down the BC High offense and maybe shorten the game. Try to grind out their own offense and kill some of this clock, because we're 6.5 minutes into the game and already 3 scores.
And that brings up a great point, is the Redmen will go back on offense trailing by 8 after the quick touchdown allowed by the defense, and the offense is going to have to be a big part today, as the defense hasn't been holding its ground through the first 2 drives of the ball game. So DeVita's quick, a small little swib kick that'll get through Redmen, and the Redmen got a fall on it. That is Kalu'olu, who will just fall on it at the Redmen 25-yard line.
We saw Methuen do that quite a bit last week. Tewksbury has a very dangerous return game, and we saw Methuen try to do a few different things to keep the ball out of the hands of the deep return men, and BC High in that situation did it again with the squib kick.
And a great play call there from head coach Jonathan Barillo, and the Redmen will be at their own 25 as we see Ryan Rometta for the second time today. He'll be under center for the snap, as it is a handoff to the right side to Kyle DeRigo, who will only get about a yard or 2 on the first down play.
Tewksbury trying a little misdirection there, and that's what they're going to need to do. You're going up against a big defensive line here. You're not going to be able to move them off the ball straight ahead. You're going to need to try coming at them with some traps, some misdirections.
As like we said earlier, it's going to be the big plays for the Redmen that are hopefully going to make the difference in this one, as Rometta will line up in the backfield by himself on second down. It is a pass to the left side to Elward, and a great blocking play as he breaks through the middle of the field. Another great athletic play from the senior captain.
Well, you just keep giving it to him. If BC High is going to allow Elward to get the ball in his hands, particularly in space, then they're just going to keep feeding it to him, and you're going to see some big plays from him today.
And just a very simple screen to the outside as the Redmen pick up a first down at around the 44-yard line on their side of the field. So Rometta with another pass play to the right side to Elward again, who will gain a few extra yards after the throwdown there. That'll bring them close to the first down marker. I think they'll mark it about an inch short of giving the Redmen the first down in that play.
Shane Elward is not a big receiver, but boy, he runs great routes. He gets himself open, and then his footwork, once he has it, is a beautiful thing to watch.
He reminds us of a great Patriot wide receiver in Julian Edelman, the same way he plays. It's a handoff play to Elward this time. He'll try to plunge through, and looks like he did get the first down on that play. A short little run gets the Redmen the first down.
This is what you want to see from the Redmen offense. You want to see them pounding it away, either through the air or on the ground, but just continuing to grind it out, getting some good gains, picking up first downs, chewing up clock, and keeping that. This is the best way to keep that BC High offense off the field.
And it's just going to be these 4 or 5 yard gains from the Redmen that are just going to keep the clock moving in their favor, as it is a handoff left to Kalu'olu, who gets broken up at the line of scrimmage but plunges through for about a yard or 2 after being stopped at around the 45.
Kalu'olu is the feet keep going, the legs keep churning until the whistle, and sometimes after the whistle, but boy, he does not go down easy, and it doesn't matter how big the defender is, he just keeps just grinding, putting his shoulders forward.
As we are just a little under 2:35 to go in the first quarter of play, it's a second down for the Redmen on the BC High side of the field at about their 44. Rometta will go back under center. It's a play-action pass to the right side. He's got to get it away, and it is almost intercepted by James Mahoney.
Mahoney jumped the route. The play took a long time to develop, and a really nice play by Shane Elward, who saw Mahoney jump the route and took on the role of defensive back to break up the interception attempt.
And it looks like he did have to play his defensive position on that play. A great defensive play to swat it away from James Mahoney, who was just a second earlier. He's taking that the other way. So it'll be 3rd and 9 for the Redmen. Big third down here. See if that offense can stay on the field and try to put some more points on the board. Rometta will take the snap. He'll look over the middle, and that one is intercepted by number 44, Ryan Carney. And that will be Rometta's 3rd interception of the season, and the Eagles will go back on offense.
The interception, as you say, was by Carney, but you can credit the 2 defensive ends, the 2 giant bookends, Ozzie Trapillo on the right side and John Garrett on the left. They met in the middle at Rometta and put a pounding on him and forced the bad throw. We mentioned about Trapillo, 6'8", 270, but Garrett is 6'6", 225.
So the football will now be going the other way, as it'll be BC High football at the 41-yard line. Weisenheim back in the shotgun formation. It's a handoff right. Looks like to number 9, Jack O'Connelly. And it looked like he got stopped behind the line of scrimmage there. Great stop by the Redmond defense.
What a nice play by Pat Fleming. Made some excellent penetration to get in the backfield and get a hold of the legs of the running back and make the best defensive play so far today.
So it'll be 2nd 11 from the 40 as Weisenheim drops back to throw. He'll look, and a great defensive play by number 7, Nolan Timmons on that play.
This is the first time that they put a little pressure on Weisenheim and it was number 75, Mike Woodford, getting in there, putting a little pressure on, and then a nice defensive backfield.
So great play by the 2 seniors, as it is now 3rd and 11 for the Eagles. Another big 3rd down as the Redmen send the blitz in, looking down the middle, Weisenheim, and it is dropped by number 2, very unexpectedly, Carter Rice.
Rice dropping that. It was Steve Arsenal coming in on the blitz. They picked up the blitz, but it was just enough to maybe disrupt Weisenheim, and he threw a little bit behind his receiver, and now they forced a punt. Boy, this was a big defensive stand. This was really important for this Redmond defense.
So Elward will be back to return the punt. It is a nice kick, as Elward will call the fair catch at around the 24-yard line of the Redmen, and that's where their drive will start after the interception.
I think Shane Elward would like to have that one back. He signaled very quickly for a fair catch, but it turned out to be a line drive kick, and he had about 10 or 15 yards of green space in front of him where he could have got a head of steam up. But he caught it cleanly, and the Redmen have the ball with a chance to move down and hopefully tie the game.
So 1:20 to go here left in the first quarter of play. The Redmen, another similar start to their last drive at their 24/25-yard line. Rometta will go back under center. Handoff left side to Kalu'olu, the big back. We'll bring it up to about the 30-yard line for the Redmen.
One of the nice things of Alou in a game like this is he hits the holes hard. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't dance. And when he gets hit, he'll fall forward. He'll move forward. So it is exceedingly rare that he has a negative play. And on this one, a nice pickup, 5 yards. So 2nd and 5.
So Redmen gain half the distance of the first down there. It'll be 2nd and 5 from the 30. Just under 40 ticks left to go in the first. And play action to the right side, and it is just out of the reach of number 40, Pat Fleming.
Oh, that's too bad. He had a little bit of space, probably enough for the first down, and it looked like he turned his head downfield before he got a hold of the ball, and it tipped right off his fingertips.
So another 3rd down coming up here for the Redmen. 3rd and 5, it'll be from the 30-yard line. Let's see what the Redmen do here. Be a big conversion if they get it on this play. Redmen come out of the huddle 5 wide with Rometta the lone player in the backfield. It's a good snap. It's passed to the left side to Shane Elward, who breaks through a few tackles and will get a first down on the play. As he has not been signaled down yet, the whistles come in, and a great play by Shane Elward once again.
You know, I worry about Shane that he might catch cold from the guys who fly by him and create a breeze. He just has such, I know I've said this for the past 2 weeks, but such great footwork to get guys to miss. And then all of a sudden he turns a play that should have been 3 yards into about 8 for a first down. And it keeps the drive alive, keeps the clock moving.
Another simple bubble screen to that side of the field as Rometta will go back under center. It looks like that was the last play of the first quarter. And after 1 quarter of play here at Doucette Field, it is the BC High Eagles 14 and your Tewksbury Redmen 6.
I can't say strongly enough how big that defensive stand was for Tewksbury. You had 3 really strong plays. You had, and it started right out of the gate with the strong defensive play on the running attempt that Pat Fleming from his nose tackle position got the penetration, made the play, and now all of a sudden, instead of 2nd and 3, 2nd and 2, now it's 2nd and 11. And so now you've got them in a passing situation. They try to pass. You get a good defensive play there. Now it's 3rd and 11. It's an entirely different ball game when you can keep this BC High team in a long distance situation. If you got them 2nd and 2, they can pretty much grab anything from their playbook at all, and you wind up guessing. And so that was a huge defensive stand. And now the Redmen are moving the ball again. Maybe a chance to get a little momentum back in this game.
And that not only goes for the BC High offense, but any offense you've ever faced, is it is better to keep them not from getting chunks of yardage, and we definitely saw that on that defensive drive from the Redmen. So to start the second quarter of play, it'll be 1st and 10 for the Redmen as they have 3 receivers stacked up at the top of your screen. Rometta will look direct to throw. It is almost intercepted by number 25, Lewis Timmons.
Boy, that was a dangerous throw. He was going for Aylward on a deep post pattern, and the safety read that play beautifully. Rometta's going to need to look off the safety. If they're going to try to run that play, he's going to need to look to the left side, look off the safety, and then go back to the right, because if he just locks onto Aylward, then the safety can just do exactly the same thing.
And that'll just be way too easy of a defensive play for the Eagles. That is now 2nd and 10 for the Redmen. Olu is back in the backfield. It'll be a pitch play to the right side of him as he'll break off a tackle off the offensive at the line of scrimmage. Olu looks like he got about 6 or 7 yards on that 2nd down run.
A good hole on the right side of the line, and Lou hit it hard. Got a good gain, and now you've got a manageable distance, as you say, about 3rd and 4, 3rd and a long 3 that they've got here, and see if we can keep the drive going.
So the Redmen, looks like they'll flip the play on this one. 3rd and 4, and is a pitch play to the left side to Aylward, but a great defensive play at the line of scrimmage by number 78, Ozzie Trapillo.
Yeah, Trapillo wrapped him up, but it was Joey Brink, the linebacker, who came in on a blitz and got into the backfield, slowed down Aylward, and that was enough to allow Trapillo. And once Trapillo hits you, you're not going to break free of that big man.
So the Redmen punt team will come on the field as we'll see them for the first time in the ball game. Number 10, Jacob Perez, is back to receive the kick, as Aylward will send a high punt as the fair catch signal is called from Perez, and the Eagles will start this drive at their own 20-yard line.
Well, we'll see if the Redmond defense can build off of what they did last time. They seem to have made some nice adjustments, and we'll see if they can keep that going and keep this a one-possession game.
A lot different than what we saw in the first opening minutes of the first quarter, where each team just went up and down the field to put points on the board. Some great defensive possessions to late in the first quarter and early to start the second here. So the Eagles back on offense at their own 20-yard line. As we hear the Let's Go Redmond chant from the Redmond crowd, whose theme today is the U.S. colors. So it'll be first down and 10. Handoff to the right side, number 24, Steve Benson, but a great tackle at the feet by Will McKay once again.
Nice play by the defense. Again, going low, getting a hold of the legs, getting a hold of the ankles, and then Aylward was able to come in and mop up.
So only about a yard on that first down play from BC High. Weisenheim back in the shotgun formation. Another pass play, a simple little route on the right side is Carter Rice, who secured the ball on that one after his drop on the last offensive drive.
Rice is going to be close to a first down, and that play may be a bit short. Yeah, it looks like about 2 yards short on that.
So third down again for the Eagles. Another pass play looking for Carter Rice over the middle, who makes another great catch.
Oh, it's easily understandable. Make the mistake on that. A nice route, just basically a 10-yard in, and the ball was right there when Rice made his cut.
Looked like Jerry Rice on the play with that route. Another first down for the Eagles. A pass down the middle as he just overshoots his target, Patrick Dooley, on that one.
They tried to catch the Redmond napping on that play with by sending the tight end up the seam for the first time, looking for his tight end. But the coverage was good, and wound up that the pass was about 10 yards too deep.
So the Eagles on second down now. See if they try to cut this in half for another easier third down, or try to pick up another chunk yard here. So it's a handoff up the middle and a great defensive play from the Redmond defense. Number 51, Steven Arsenault, right up the gut.
Well, that's a second nice play by Arsenault. And again, the Redmond, you can see that they have been concentrating on tackling low, wrapping up the legs, and that was textbook. That was an absolute textbook play. And now 3rd and 12 for the Eagles.
And before the snap, we're going to get a timeout from the Eagles sideline, as they will look at what they can do here on this 3rd and 12 coming up.
When we talked about the BC High offensive line, we talked about how big they were. One of the things that you and I were noting before the broadcast was that average of 6'3", 254 included their center, who is Tom McCormick, who's only 5'10", 190. That's where, right up the middle, is where the Eagles are the smallest. And it looks like the Redmen have decided that is going to be where they want to attack defensively. They have been coming up the gut, what they like to call the A gap or the one gap, either to the right side or the left side of the center. And using their speed, they've been able to get in there quickly and make some nice plays. So it'll be interesting to see if BC High can decides to make an adjustment on that. But so far, the Redmen have done a nice job coming right up the middle and making some stops on these last two possessions.
Arsenault, a very athletic linebacker right out of the middle, coming right off his linebacker position to make that play. It'll be 3rd and 12 after the timeout. Knives will drop back to throw. It is a wobbly pass to the left side that is incomplete. Another great defensive stop by this Redmond defense.
Patrick Green coming in from the left side, putting a little bit of pressure. Not a ton. Again, not putting a body on Weisenheim, but enough that it made maybe a little quick throw, quicker than he wanted to, and it was just off target, and the Redmen have held again.
As you said, another great defensive play on the pass rush by Pager Green, and the Eagles punt team will come back out on the field as Aylward is back to return the kick once again.
I suspect that if it's at all possible, you're going to see Aylward return this punt.
So it is a high punt down the sidelines. It is caught by Aylward around his 18-yard line. He's got room up the sideline. A great block and a great return from Shane Aylward. Looks like he did get to the BC High side of the field after starting at his own 18-yard line.
Yeah, as I said on that last one, the last punt, you could tell that Aylward knew he had signaled for a fair catch too soon, so he wanted another shot. He got it, and what a nice return up to the 48-yard line of BC High.
A great prediction by my partner, Bill Gimmon there, sounding like Tony Romo on that play, knowing what the return was going to be. So the Redmen in great field position right now on the BC High of the field at the 48-yard line. Rometta will take the snap. It is a handoff to the left side to Danny Fleming, who will put his head down, truck over number 12, Joey Brink, on a great gain on first down.
That was a nice play. That's one of those misdirection plays we were talking about earlier, and boy, it could have been even bigger, but Brink for BC High held on to his ankle for dear life and was able to take him down.
It's good to see number 9, Danny Fleming, getting some offensive snaps as he's come up with some big gains here for the Redmen today. So it'll be second and around 5 or 6 for the Redmen around the BC High 44. So Redmen will now motion out to do 5 out. Rometta sees the blitz coming right at him. He's got to get rid of it, and it's just out of the reach of Nolan Timmons.
The two big defensive ends coming in on him, and he rushed the throw a little bit. He actually had Timmons open, but it was just about 2 feet too high for him.
It's going to be very interesting to see if the Redmen continue to use their 5-out set, especially with the big boys on the defensive line there, trying to give Rometta as much time as possible to make a completed pass, but a lot of overthrows and great defensive pressure so far.
One thing we haven't seen, we've seen the quick bubble screens to the wide receivers. One thing we haven't seen is the screen where they suck in the defensive linemen. That might be an effective play against this big defensive line for BC High.
So it looked like Brian Aylward did not like what he saw on each side of the football, as he will use his first timeout of the first half.
One of the things we mentioned early in the broadcast was Tewksbury needing to withstand the opening onslaught of BC High, and the Eagles definitely came. They showed a lot of their power, a lot of their offensive weapons, but Tewksbury finds himself just down 1 score and the ball in their hands on the BC High side of the field. So they did withstand it. They've made a couple of good defensive stands in a row, and so they're right in this ball game. And they needed to have those defensive stands because it could just as easily be a 2 or 3 touchdown game right now. So they're going to see if they can keep this drive alive and maybe see if they can grind it down for a tying score.
So with under a little 8 minutes to go here in the first half, the Redmen have an upcoming 3rd and 6 from the BC High 45. Rometta will take the snap, he'll drop back, and he's got Shane Aylward over the middle, who will bring the ball over to the right hash mark, but that will be a first down for the Redmen.
Big play there by Aylward. Nice throw by Rometta, but it was a little off, and Aylward just flashed those hands and made a nice grab for the first down.
So a big 3rd down conversion there for the Redmen, as now gaining closer to that end zone on the Eagles side of the field. So Olu will be in the backfield in the I formation. It's a pitch play to him on the left side. He's got room down the left side. It'll be gang tackle by the Eagles, but play is now officially blown dead as Olu kept moving those legs and fighting for some extra yardage.
When Kalu'alu puts together his highlight reel for colleges, he might include that one because Trapillo tried to wrap him up, and he ran right through the tackle of the Boston College bound defensive end. Boy, Kalu'alu, a strong, strong runner.
So a much needed 4 or 5 yards on that first down play. So it'll be another pitch play to the left side. This one will be taken by Shane Elward. But looks like the Eagles are right there to get him on that play.
Brink getting some good penetration on that. Again, just slowing down Elward just enough to allow his teammates to come over for the gang tackle and leave the Redmen with a 3rd and 4.
So another 3rd, 4/5-ish play here for the offense, as they would like to gain another first down to keep the drive moving, to keep the Eagle offense off the field. So back in the shotgun formation is the Redmen. Rometta looking to the right side. That is caught by Elward. A simple little curl route gets the first down.
Yeah, that's you mentioned the comparison to Julian Edelman, and that's a Julian Edelman play right there. Just a quick little curl, sit down in the opening in the zone, and get what you need. Don't try to do too much. Get what you need for the first down. Keep the drive alive. Keep the BC High offense off the field. Let your defense rest. Nice play.
So another great 3rd down conversion for the Redmen. That is a upcoming 1st and 10 here, with just a little 5:25 to go in the first half. So Rometta, it'll be a run play to the right side off the jet sweep. That is Danny Fleming who will get the carry on that one. A gain of about 4 or 5 on that first down.
Some of these run plays, they're not picking up huge yardage, but it's positive yardage. And 2nd and 6 looks a lot different than 2nd and 10. So a nice run there by Fleming. They're using a lot of different running backs, putting the ball in the hands of different people, not letting BC High key on anybody. So nice job of mixing plays by Brian Elward and his offense.
Similar to what we saw of the Rangers last weekend, them using their multiple offensive threats, and the Redmen using the same strategy today against BC High, as we get a whistle before the snap, and it looks like it's going to be a false start on the Redmen. So we'll erase that 5-yard play. It looks like that'll be a gain of nothing now on Fleming's run.
Boy, that's too bad. It really wasn't an obvious jump, but apparently just enough for the referee to notice it. And as you say, 2nd and 5 just became 2nd and 10.
So the false start will push the Redmen back 5 yards, as that first down play never happened. So the ball is marked at the Eagle 25 for 2nd down. There'll be a pass looking to the left side, and that is picked off by number 12, Joey Brink, as Rometta throws his 2nd interception of the ball game.
Rometta, his eyes got real big because he saw the safety shift over to the side, and he saw the middle of the field wide open for Kyle Dorigo. And had he been able to get it over the defense, Dorigo would have scored. But he didn't see Brink drop back, and who made a nice play, falling backwards onto the ground for the interception. Nice defensive play by BC High to stymie the Redmen drive.
So Joey Brink, who made the start in last year's game against the Redmen, comes up with a big interception as the Redmen offense was chugging towards that end zone, but BC now takes over after the interception. 4:05 to go left in the first half. Weisenheim will take the snap. It is a handoff to the left side to Lopez, who tried to spin off the tackle of number 40, Pat Fleming, but a great tackle there.
A beautiful play by Fleming, coming in from his nose tackle position. They've been, Brian Elward has been switching up Fleming and Riley Oth at the nose tackle position. Both smaller guys, but quick guys, and it's been paying dividends because, as we talked about, they've been able to get a little bit of penetration and really slow down that running game for BC High.
It just seemed to work here in the second quarter, as it looked like the Eagles were owning the Redmen in the air and the ground. So it'll be a play action pass to the right side. It is caught by Carter Rice, but he did put his knee down before he picked it back up. So he will not get the extra yardage he could have ran after the catch. It'll bring up third down.
Tewksbury caught a break there. Rice went down on one knee to make that catch. He had a few yards of space that he could have picked up a big gain, but now another big third down for the Tewksbury defense. See if they can get the ball back with about 2.5 minutes to go in the half.
Tewksbury defense, as he said, another big third down here. To snap to Weisenheim, they put the pressure on, and that'll force Weisenheim to throw it away in the area of Carter Rice.
Will McKay, the previous play, McKay had come gunning up the middle, and he had gotten stopped on his blitz. This time, not so much, and he forced Weisenheim to make a throw quite a bit earlier than he would have liked to, and it was nowhere near his receiver, so Tewksbury will get the ball back with a couple of minutes to play before halftime.
Another great defensive call by defensive coordinator Steve Kasperzak on that one. The Eagles will be forced to punt once again, as that kick is be sailing out of bounds. Let's see here where the official marks this one. Looks like he's going to mark it exactly at midfield.
That time, BC High wanted no part of getting the ball in Shane Aylward's hands, and that was angled out of bounds by design. It was not a great punt. It was only about 20 yards, but they did not want to risk Shane Aylward having a chance for a big return.
So the Redmen will start their drive at the 50-yard line, right at midfield with 2:33 to go. Let's see if they can put some points on the board, maybe drain some clock, as they do receive the second half kickoff.
Well, this is exactly the situation Brian Aylward wants. He wants the possession at the end of the first half and a chance then for a possession at the beginning of the second. So we'll see what happens.
The Redmen line up 5 out wide once again, and that was a very close play. Did they mark the play down? And is incomplete. Fans and coaches from the Eagles sideline very upset about the call, and that'll bring up second down.
Redmond might have caught a break there. It could have been a lateral, but also BC High might have caught a break because it looked like it was that their defender, number 33, Dan Scalaro, got there before the ball got there. It could have been pass interference.
So a call that could have been gone either way on BC High, but it'll only result in an incompletion. Second down and 10 from the 50. So Amanda, a handoff to Aylward, who then hands it off to Kyle Dorigo, who only looks like he gained about a yard or two on the second down.
Another try for a misdirection inside, an inside reverse. But BC High was able to clog up the middle. The Redmen weren't able to open up any kind of a hole up the gut. So third and long for the Redmen.
Just coming up on the 2-minute mark remaining in the first half of play. The Redmen trying to convert on this third down and 9 to keep the drive alive. And a whistle before the snap. Looks like BC High called a timeout.
Well, it was interesting that BC High would call a timeout there on the third and long, but there must have been something that they saw that the Redmen had lined up, that they saw a vulnerability in their defensive lineup, and so better to take the timeout than risk a long touchdown, which, as we said earlier, BC High has been susceptible to big plays. That play where Rometta threw the interception to Dorigo, that could have been one of those big plays because there was a big opening deep in the secondary had Rometta been able to get it over the top of Brank. So it's 2 minutes to go in the half. The Redmen need to pick up this first down to keep it going. But if they can somehow manage to get this down the field before halftime, they could really swing the momentum with getting the second half kickoff.
And as BCI will look in the other favor of that, try to get the football back before the end of the first half, as Romero will take the snap. It's a pass to Shane Elward, who looked like he was going to throw, but has to take it himself. Looks like he's just going to be just short of the line to gain on third down, as the Redmond offense looking like they will stay on the field for this 4th and short.
That was set up as a double pass where it was a thrown on a lateral to Aylward. Aylward then has the option. He did not see anybody open. And that may have been the play that the BC High coaches saw and realized that they didn't have the defense for it.
And a great decision-making play by Shane Elward, as it is 4th down, and they're going to bring it right up the gut by their giant running back, Kaluolu.
Kaluolu is a load, and he does not hesitate. If there's a big hole, he'll rip through it like he did on that touchdown. If there's a small hole, he will pound through it, and he will make somebody suffer if they're going to tackle him. What a nice job getting that first down.
So the clock just around a minute to go here in the first half, and a short little pass is incomplete, as it looked like it was batted down at the line of scrimmage by number 84, John Garrett.
Big John Garrett, 6'6", 225, one of the bookend defensive ends for the Eagles, and he gets those mitts up. He is every bit as big as a NFL player, and it is awfully tough to throw through those redwoods.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 for Tewksbury at the 39-yard line on the Eagles side, with the clock looking like 55 ticks to go here in the first half. So Romero will look over to the left side. He'll throw to that side, and it is out of the reach of number 7, Nolan Timmons.
Just off target. He had Timmons open in what probably would have been a first down, but just misfired on that. So 3rd down and long. Tewksbury still should have 2 timeouts left, so they can still use the middle of the field to get this first down. And if they get it close enough, if they can pick up 7 or 8 yards, we probably see them go for it again on 4th down, just as we did before.
It'll be one of these decisions if the Redmen try to get all of this yardage in one play, or they leave it short for 2 or 3 yards for a easier 4th down. And as we heard from the Redmen sideline, someone yelling timeout, and they will. Their 2nd of the half. Each team will only have 1 remaining.
Well, it shows how important both coaches see this drive at the end of the first half. They've both used a timeout not to stop the clock, but to readjust their play call. And it worked for the Eagles. They did not give up the big play on the double pass, and we'll see what Brian Aylward and his coaching staff come up with for the big 3rd down play here. But clearly they did not like what they saw defensively from BC High.
Yeah, brings up the decision to either change the play after calling the timeout, or deciding to still go with their original play call before the timeout. But big 3rd down here late in the first half. So Romero will be under center for this 3rd down. It is a double handoff, and that'll be Danny Fleming looking down the field, and it is intercepted by Carter Rice. He had an interception in last week's win. He's going to take this one out to the entire other side of the field, and will be taken down at the 20-yard line. Not what the Redmen wanted on that drive.
No, but it was worth a shot, and BC High has clearly done a really nice job of scouting the Redmen, and I don't know if that was the original play or if they changed the play, but the receiver downfield was covered, double covered, and had a shot to make the catch. I didn't catch the number of the receiver on that play.
I believe it was Shane Elward who was
Shane
running
Elward.
down.
Yep. Elward went up, had a chance. Rice went up with him, kind of ripped the ball away from him. A beautiful defensive play. But again, great defensive play calling by the Eagles, who now have 3 interceptions here in the first half.
So 33 ticks to go in the first half of play. Let's see what the Eagles do on this possession. Do we hear a whistle before the snap? It's going to be the Eagles' third and final timeout of the first half.
Yeah, that because the throw was so deep, it really didn't hurt all that much. It would have been nice to get the score on that drive, but the Eagles now, 33 seconds, have got 80 yards they need to go for pay dirt. And the way the Redmond defense has been playing, one would hope that they should be able to go into halftime just down 1 score and get the ball to make some adjustments and get the ball to start the second half.
Also including that they don't have any timeouts remaining here in this half, but it was a smart play call from Brian Howard, as Danny Fleming did used to play quarterback back in middle school and in his freshman year, but just underthrew Shane Howard a little bit there as the Redmen have their 3rd turnover of the ball game. But with only 33 seconds to go in the first half, let's see if the Eagles will just sit on it and take it into halftime. So Weisenheim will be back in the shotgun formation with Perez to his right, as he will drop back to throw. He's got a receiver deep down the field, and he just overthrows Ben Eve. A smart play call, but just overthrew his receiver.
Nice coverage by Nolan Timmons. He was right on him and had the ball been catchable for the receiver. Timmons should have been there to make the play. So nice play on first down.
So as we just saw, the Eagles trying to take a shot there on first down. Incomplete. It'll mark them back at their own 20-yard line for second down. Let's see if on this play they try to double Carter Rice, who's a deep threat to his star quarterback. As he does look for Carter Rice over the middle, who makes a great leaping catch. As looks like the Eagles are trying to move things quickly here with only 15 seconds to go. As Weisenheim will just spike the ball in the Doucette field grass. And only 8 seconds to go in the first half.
One of the things the Redmond defense has done is they've been forcing Rice to run short routes, 10-yard routes, 12-yard routes. They haven't allowed him to get deep, or any of the other receivers for BC High. They've not been giving anything up over the top and been forcing BC to kind of slowly make their way downfield.
So 1st and 10 for the Eagles, just 8 seconds to go. Weisenheim will drop back. He'll look deep, and he underthrows Carter Rice, as 5 seconds only show now on the game clock.
Some nice pressure from the outside by Pat Green, and coming up the gut from Pat Fleming, putting some good pressure, and that was the first time that Weisenheim has been knocked down. So that's a good sign for the Tewksbury defense if they're finding a way to put some pressure on this quarterback, because when as talented as he is, when Weisenheim is pressured, he's shown that he's not very good, not very accurate when he has to make quick decisions.
So 3rd and 10, 5 seconds to go here in the first half. Play action pass, a short little pass on the left side, and that'll do it for the first half of play. And after one half here at Doucette Field is the Boston College High School Eagles 14 and your Tewksbury Redmen 6. We'll see you guys in the second half.
Okay, Dad. 1, 2, 3. You saved me. Dad?
Are you okay?
I'm fine, dear.
Your hero needs you now, and AARP is here to help. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
First time I tried Vicodin, it was laying around my mom's house. I didn't know they'd be this addictive. I didn't know how far I'd go to get more.
Opioid dependence can happen after just 5 days. Know the truth, spread the truth.
Hello, fans, and welcome to the second half here between the BC High Eagles and your Tewksbury Redmen. At the end of one half of play, it was the Eagles 14 and the Redmen 6. The Redmen ending off the first half with some strong defensive drives. The offense was the main concern in that first half.
The Redmen were able to move the ball, but they really shot themselves in the foot. Remetta had the 3 interceptions, and we talked early at the beginning of the broadcast that they were going to have to be near perfect against a team like BC High, and really the difference in the game at this point has been the 3 turnovers.
And if you're just tuning into today's game, I'm Andrew Dalpiana, and alongside me is my partner, Bill Gilman. And as the second half is about to get underway, the Redmen will have the opening kickoff to start the half as they trail by 8.
One of the highlights, or one of the bright spots in the first half offensively, was the play of Shane Aylward. Not surprising there. Anytime they were able to get him the ball in open space, he was making big plays. The problems came when Remetta was trying to throw the ball downfield against that secondary. So you may see them try to run more of the screens, more of the short pass plays, get the ball in Aylward's hands, get the ball in Keogh's hands, and continue to run with Aylward and with Kalu'alu, who had some good success running up the middle.
And it's going to be up to the quarterback, Ryan Remetta, who had a strugglish first half with 2 interceptions, both in key spots inside the BC High 30-yard line. We'll get to see in the first opening drive of the second half if he can turn that around here in a big spot where his Redmen team needs him the most.
They've got Aylward and Keogh back deep for this kickoff. It'll be interesting to see if they squib it again.
So Keneally will send this one high in the air, and getting underneath it is number 23, Tyler Keogh, who tries to bring it up the middle, but a great tackle by number 35, Trevor Larlin, and number 24, Sean Benson, on that play.
Good coverage. Keogh looked like he hesitated a little bit, deciding where he wanted to go on his return, and that was all BC High needed. They had real good coverage on that to start force the Redmen to start inside their own 25-yard line.
So the opening drive of the first half will start at the 23-yard line of the Redmen. Redmen moving left to right here in the third quarter. Remetta will be a handoff the left side to Kalu'alu. Saw some burst of energy through the left side of the line there, and a nice 6-7 yard gain on first down.
They ran right at the big man that time. They ran right at Ozzie Trapillo, and they opened up a nice hole. The Redmen offensive line are doing a nice job, at least opening up just enough room for the running backs to make positive yardage, and that time a 7-yard gain.
It looks like we've seen both offensive lines come up big in this one, as we've yet to see a sack in the ball game. And as the Redmen have a second down and about 3 on the 20-yard line. It'll be a play-action pass as Remetta will roll out right and it throws it into triple coverage, but what a catch by Owen Gilligan in traffic.
What a terrific catch by Gilligan. As you said, triple coverage. He threaded the needle. It was a beautiful throw. And BC High was collapsing on Gilligan, and he held his ground. He kept his concentration and hauled it in. What a nice catch.
Owen Gilligan, number 87, coming out of the tight end position on that play. Great concentration to keep possession of the football while 3 Eagles were collapsing on him, and that'll bring up a first down for the Redmen. So it'll be a handoff the left side. Shane Elward, a gaping hole on the left side of the line, and a great 11-yard run will pick up another Redmen first down.
Again, running right at, they're taking the game right to Ozzie Trapillo, who, as we mentioned before, headed to Boston College, the same place that his late father played. And right now, the Redmen are showing no fear, no intimidation at all.
And that's exactly what the Redmen need to do here to start the second half if they want to continue that for the rest of the ball game. It's going to be a pitch play to the right side. Shane Elward finds a gaping hole down the right sideline, and what a great play from both the offensive line and Elward to pick up a big chunk of yard there.
He doesn't need much room. He doesn't need much room at all. And when he sees the opening, he shifts it into another gear, and a huge, huge chunky yardage.
First down, Tewksbury.
So the Redmen picking up first downs on back-to-back plays as they're now inside the 30-yard line for the Eagles. It'll be Danny Fleming on the carry there. He'll push forward. Looks like he's just about to enter the red zone.
Fleming, Alou, Aylward, they just keep using different guys, fresh legs. And in a hot day like today, we mentioned 78 degrees, that can make a big difference in the second half.
The Redmen have already eaten about 2.5 minutes off this opening drive, as Romero will send 5 receivers out wide, 3 to his left, 2 to his right here on second down. It is a screen pass to the left side, and a nice catch over on that side of the field is number 3, Shane Elward.
Not much room over there. A nice defensive play by Jim Mahoney for BC High. And it looks like, yeah, they are going to give him the first down. We knew it was going to be close, but they are going to give him the first down without a measurement. So the drive continues at the 16.
And so the Redmen with their 4th first down here on this drive, as putting pressure on the Eagle defense to start the third quarter. Romero to pitch play to the outside. Olu somehow, some way, picks that ball off the ground, off the bounce. It looks like he barely got back to the line of scrimmage, may have lost a yard, but a big, big play that the Redmen could have used in their favor.
Kalu'ulu caught a break there. He does not usually get the ball via pitch. That's not usually how he gets the ball in his hands, and he may have taken his eye off it for just a second, but as you say, it bounced right back up into his hands, so sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
So a miscue there from the Redmen offense as they lost a yard on that play, as it is a play-action pass this one. Shane Elward, a great comeback route on the right sideline, and what a great play that was by Shane Elward.
Nice catch by Elward. What we're seeing from Romero here early in the second half is they're rolling him out. They're rolling him out to his right side, and that seems to be giving him a little bit more time, a little bit more space to make his throws.
He seems a lot more confident when rolling out to his primary side of where he throws the football. The Redmen now in great position to put the ball in the end zone at the 4-yard line, first and goal. This one's going to be a handoff to Elward. Shake his way through, and he is into the end zone for the Redmen touchdown. Shane Elward, his 5th touchdown of the season.
Shane Elward running behind Kalu'ulu, who opened up a nice seam block there. And as we said, Elward does not need much space. He just slides in, makes himself small, and punched it right over the end zone, in the end line. And now it looks like the Redmen will go for 2 to try and tie this game.
As we do see Romero back under center for the 2-point conversion. The Redmen try to tie it up at 14. It's a play-action pass. They roll him out to the right side again. He's got an open receiver and just out of the reach of Nolan Timmons. He was wide open there, and the Redmen can't convert the 2-point conversion.
They executed the play. Timmons came from the tight end slot. He was wide open, as you said. Nobody was within 7 or 8 yards of him, and looked like Rometta just got a little over anxious and threw it a little too deep. But it's now a 2-point game. We've got a football game here in the second half.
So a great answering statement by the Redmen offense, but let's see if the Redmen defense can keep up what they've been doing for their past 3 drives on defense, where they've forced 3 punts.
I think a big part of this is going to be good coverage on the kickoff here and forcing BC High to drive the length of the field and then continue to do what they've been doing defensively, which is forcing them to run a lot of plays, not giving up big plays, forcing the receivers to cut off routes, and basically daring Weisenhahn to try and throw deep, but so far he hasn't been able to throw much over 10 or 15 yards.
The Redmen go 77 yards in 4 minutes and 26 seconds to start the third quarter, as Keel will send the ball the length of the field. It is caught at the 5-yard line. Here come the Redmen trying to make the tackle on McAlley. They will, but a flag marker comes down on the left side of the field.
They're going to catch BC High on a block in the back, and you can credit number 84, Pat Green, who came roaring in on the coverage and might have had a chance to make the play, but he got blocked in the back. So now BC High is going to be buried inside their own 20-yard line to start this drive.
Second time we've mentioned Pager Green this game, as he's made some key defensive plays on special teams and on the defensive side of the ball.
We're calling some names that we didn't necessarily call last week. We're seeing some guys step up this week, and that's exactly what Brian Aylward was looking for. He was looking for a full team effort and to show the depth of his squad, and that's what we're seeing today.
And as we talked about earlier, is BC does have a lot of depth, but we've been talking about it more on the Redmond side today, as Weisenheim it is a jet sweep to the left side, trying to look for some room, but a great defensive play by the Redmen. And a few players coming out of that one, but the great player is the linebacker, Steven Arsenault.
Arsenault is playing a heck of a game today. He came roaring across, and he had laser sights on the ball carrier and just buried him. Terrific play. The linebackers for Tewksbury overall, Arsenault's playing a great game. Will McKay playing a great game, just doing a really nice job.
So on that play, the Eagles lose 7 yards, so it'll be a 2nd and 17 from their own 5-yard line. Arsenault bringing the blitz right up the middle again, and it's a missed tackle by the Redmen, and a much-needed play for the Eagles. The reception there was made by number 10, Jacob Perez.
Missed opportunity there where they had a chance to make a tackle for a short gain, and as you say, they just missed it, but they still have a 3rd and 4 here, and this will be a big defensive play for Tewksbury to see if they can force the punt.
It was a smart play by bringing the blitz, but it was just a missed tackle and a great executed play from the quarterback, Weisenheim. So after all that, it'll be 3rd and about 3 or 4 for the Eagles on a big 3rd down here. A true test for the Redmond D. It's going to be a handoff off the middle, and there he is again. Number 51, Steven Arsenault, with the help of number 43, Riley Oth, and another big 3rd down stop from the Redmond defense.
Riley Oth, again, who has been switching back and forth on drives with Pat Fleming at the nose tackle position, just burst through the gap and blew up the play. And then, as you say, Arsenault came in and buried him.
So another great defensive stop by the Redmond defense, as it'll punt it away, and looks like it'll keep it out of the reach of Shane Elward. And the Redmen will have fantastic field position to start for their second drive of the second half.
That punt was shanked, and it looked like it might have also got caught in the wind here a little bit. It looks like the wind might have picked up. As you say, inside the 40-yard line, now they're going to move it outside a little bit. They're going to mark this about the 43, but still exceptional field position for the Redmen to start up. And right now, all of the momentum is on the Tewksbury side of the field.
And completely opposite of what we saw last weekend with the Rangers playing great defense and that offense opposing their will on the Redmond defense. Completely different story today. Rometta, handoff to the right side to Kyle Dorigo, who will burst through, keep the legs turning, will gain about an extra 1 or 2 yards on that final push.
Kyle Dorigo, another of the running backs for Tewksbury, and they've used on running plays probably 4 or 5 different backs already, and we're only midway through the third quarter. But this again is keeping legs fresh and also not letting BC High key on anybody.
Dorigo, who only had 15 yards in last week's loss, picking up a lot of pace today in this Redmond offense. It's going to be a handoff to left side to Shane Elward, who will get only about 5 yards on that play, bringing them to the 35-yard line.
A good positive play, and we saw on this one, again, something we've been seeing quite a bit, which is Redmond running backs refusing to go down. Right now, the Redmen are not going down easy, if at all. So the offensive line doing a nice job, 3rd and 3 here.
So a nice short third down play here for the Redmen, as they do have Olu in the backfield, and they will give him the football. He finds a hole right up the middle, Kalu Olu, and he's just short of the end zone. A great tackle, but look at Kalu Olu right down the gut, picking up a big gain for the Redmen.
We talked about BC High being vulnerable to the big play. And this was one of those where when Kalu'alu burst into the secondary, there was nobody there. And it looked like maybe Carter Rice grabbing hold of him to prevent the touchdown, but down to what appears to be the 1 or 2 yard line.
Redmen knocking on the door, trying to take their first lead of the ball game. Rometta will hand it off to Shane Elward, who finds his way through for the Tewksbury touchdown, and the Redmen have their first lead of the ball game.
What a nice drive by the Tewksbury offense. 2 drives in this half, 2 touchdowns. They have all the momentum in the world right now. They've got BC High back on their heels. The BC High defense with their hands on their hips, looking tired, looking spent. And right now, Tewksbury needs to keep the pressure on BC High, and they're going to be going for the 2-point conversion again.
And as we said earlier, to start this drive, the Redmen with all the momentum right now as they try to increase their lead to 6 points after going up 4 after the touchdown. So Rometta will go back under center with Olu in the backfield. It'll be a rollout right for Rometta. Similar play, but Shane Elward can't hold on to that one.
You will probably be able to count on one hand the amount of time Shane Elward will drop a ball that hits him in the hands. That was a perfectly executed play. This time Rometta made the pass, and Shane Elward will wish he had that one back again. That's going to be a highlight. He is probably going to fast forward past when he looks at the video of this game. But Tewksbury has the lead, 4 points, and again has the momentum, and now we'll see if they can maintain it.
So the Redmen have cost themselves 4 extra points on 2 missed 2-point conversions with wide open receivers in the end zone that the pass just couldn't be completed. A drop pass by Shane Elward, and on the first one by Nolan Timmons. But the Redmen have their first lead of the ball game with just under 3:37 to go in the third quarter.
You hope that it won't come back to bite Tewksbury, but 3 touchdowns and 3 failed PATs, the 2-point conversions, as you said, plus the blocked PAT on the kick on the first touchdown. You hope that it doesn't bite them.
So a long kick again sent by Tyler Keogh inside the 10-yard line. Redmond trying to make a tackle on mid-alley, but he's got room down the right sidelines. He's still on his feet and will get pushed out of bounds. A great return there. Looks like there's some commotion over on the sideline there, as it looked like he might have got pushed out a little late, but no flags on the field.
No flag, but a nice return, as you said, by Mullally. He sidestepped one or two tacklers and got the Eagles into decent field position to start here at the 40-yard line.
So 3:26 to go here in the third quarter of play. The Eagles starting their drive at the 40-yard line. Let's see if the Redmond defense can stay up to how they're playing so far. Haven't allowed a point here since the first quarter. Weisenheim back in the shotgun, trying to change the offense. Low snap. He'll look over the middle, and a great catch by number 13, Patrick Dooley, and a big gain for the Eagles to start this drive.
They tried that pass in the first half. They missed it, but that time they picked up the blitz and they caught Dooley running the tight end, running up the seam. Nice pass by Weisenhahn, and the Eagles are in business.
And a much-needed play there for the Eagles to kick-start this drive. Brings them into Redmond territory at about the 37. Weisenheim will take the snap. It's a handoff the left side. And a great defensive play by the Redmen, only gaining about 2 or 3 yards on that play.
Nice tackle by Will McKay. He was the first one in on that. One of the things they're going to need to do if they try to run that play again with the tight end is have the defensive end chip the tight end and slow him down coming off the line.
That was Jack O'Conley with the carry on that one. It looks like he'll get the carry there. It looks like there was some miscommunication off the handoff, as that ball looked like he was about to slip out, but O'Connelly will get about a yard or two.
Riley Oth again. Right now he's owning the middle of the field. Probably one of the smallest players combined on the two lines, these two behemoth lines. But right now he is owning the middle of the line of scrimmage.
So it'll be 3rd and 7 coming up for the Eagles. The Redmen trying to stop the Eagles once again on 3rd down. They'll bring the blitz. Weisenheim looking down the left sidelines. He's got a receiver, Carter Rice. What a great defensive play, but there is a flag on the play. Shane Elward broke it up in the end zone, but it looks like the referee saw that he pushed off to force the incomplete pass.
Oh, that's too bad. They're going to call this on Tyler Keogh, and I could not possibly see where that was pass interference. Aylward came from his safety position to break up the play also, and I don't know what the referee saw, but this is a bad break for Tewksbury, and it keeps the drive alive for BC High.
And it looked like a great defensive play by the two Tewksbury defense, but the ref saw it differently and calls defensive pass interference, and that is an automatic first down for the Eagles. So the Eagles, from the penalty, have now entered the Redmond red zone for the first time in the half. On 1st down. Weisenheim will look over the middle. He pump fakes, and it looks like his arm got hit at the line of scrimmage, but another great defensive play by the Redmen.
They're daring Weisenheim to throw right now, and they're coming with the blitzes. They're coming up the middle where they see the weakness in the BC High offensive line, and BC High's trying to pick it up with a running back, but right now they're just daring Weisenheim to try to beat them.
So 2nd and 10 after the incomplete pass on 1st down. Another pass. Redmond bringing the all-out blitz. It's a corner throw to Carter Rice, but just overthrows him. Tyler Keogh right on him.
This time they brought the blitz from the left side. This time it was Patrick Fleming lined up over there and coming in on the blitz. They're mixing up. Now, right now, they've got Fleming lined up at linebacker. They've got Oth on the line. Brian Elward is giving a lot of different defensive looks, and it's had some success. Big third down play here on 3rd and 10.
And a big 3rd and 10, as Bill just said, here for the Eagles as they have to convert to probably put some points in the end zone. So snap to Weisenheim. He'll throw it out to the right side to number 11, Aiden Sullivan, who breaks one tackle, but another great defensive tackling by the Redmen. Few missed tackles in this game from the defense.
No, the defense, one of the things that has been clear is that there was a lot of work on tackling this week in the Tewksbury practices, because it was a big problem for them last week against Methuen. But as you say, there's been gang tackling, there's been sure tackling, wrapping up the legs. And now it looks like BC High is going to go for it on 4th down.
So with about 40 seconds to go here in the 3rd quarter, the Eagle offense still on the field for 4th down, 4th and 7. Weisenheim taking a look at the defense. He'll take the snap, dropping back, and his arm was hit at the line of scrimmage. A great defensive play by number 40, Pat Fleming, at the line of scrimmage.
We've been calling Fleming, we've been calling Oth all day long, and that was a huge play. As you say, the pass never got more than 2 yards past the line of scrimmage, because he did get a hold of his arm, and now all of a sudden the Redmen have the ball again. So a tremendous defensive stand for Tewksbury.
And a complete opposite of what we saw last week. The Rangers absolutely own the Redmen in the air and on the ground. The defense with an unbelievable day so far through 3 quarters.
Take over at their own 16, 1st down.
So as we heard from the PA announcer, Joel McKinnon, the Redmen will start at the 16-yard line. Rometta will take the snap under center. It's a pitch play on the right side of Shane Elward. A great tackle from Ryan Carney. Might have stopped Elward from gaining about 10 to 15 extra yards on that play.
That was a good tackle by Carney coming from his linebacker position. But again, a positive play, 4 or 5 yards on 1st down.
As the Redmen coming over to their sideline, and that will signal the end of the 3rd quarter. And after 3 quarters of play here at Doucette, it's the Tewksbury Redmen 18 and the BC High Eagles 14.
Tewksbury 18, BC High 14.
One of the things that was obvious in the opening week loss by BC High to Mansfield was that the Eagles might have had a bit of a conditioning problem. As talented as they are, as skilled as they are, Mansfield was able to own the second half and especially the 4th quarter, and took a close game and just basically blew the doors off of BC High with some long touchdown runs in the 4th quarter. So now it's going to be interesting to see if Tewksbury can take advantage of the same thing. Big players are great. When you've got behemoths that are 6'7", 6'8", 280 pounds, 300 pounds, but they are susceptible to not being in great cardiovascular condition, especially in hot weather, and we're nearly 80 degrees in September. So Tewksbury may, and we may have seen that in the 3rd quarter, where Tewksbury looked like they were starting to control the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball. So we'll see if they can. We'll see if they can keep that going here in the 4th and take control of this game.
And it's just as we saw last year's game, the Redmen have a lead going into the 3rd quarter against BC High. So Rometta will hand it off to Kyle DeRigo to start the drive on the 4th quarter, and that will get a Redmen 1st down at the 30-yard line.
DeRigo, one of the smallest backs on the field, but BC High not able to take him down again. And you saw on that play, BC High, a lot of their defenders reaching out, trying to make arm tackles, just lunging. And they do look like they might be a little gassed here.
As the Redmen have used both the air and the ground to pick up yardage in this one, putting 18 points on the board so far. here entering the fourth quarter. Rometta, another under center snap as he hands it off to Olu, will be thrown down to the ground at about the Redmond 38.
Olu with another big chunk of yardage, running hard, running, as they like to say, running downhill and dragging people with him. He caught a nice wham block from Aylward coming in from the wide receiver position, who opened up part of that hole for him.
So the Redmen now second down and only about 2 yards from their own 38 after the 8-yard run from Olu on the first down. Rometta, another handoff to Kalu Olu, who will try to go up the middle, but a great tackle there at the line of scrimmage by number 40 of the Eagles, Anthony Golden.
Tewksbury looking to run behind Michael Woodford, who's done a nice job on the at the left tackle position against some big opponents, and Woodford, one of the biggest linemen for Tewksbury, and now he's shifted over to the right side.
So about a third and a yard to go for the Redmen here on third down. It'll be a handoff up the middle to Shane Elward, and it looks like they're just going to mark him short. He did not get to the line of gain.
He did not. That was one of the better plays by BC High, certainly in the second half, and probably since the first quarter. It's going to be 4th and 1, and decision time for Brian Elward.
Ozzie Tripolo got right in the middle of the mix there to force Elward from not going anywhere as Rometta comes back onto the field. 4th and about inches. The Redmen will go for it. This could be a huge play in the game to decide. And a pitch play to the left side to Shane Elward. He got a first down. He's pushed forward a few yards by Kalu'olo. He took a few defenders with him. A great play by Shane Elward. First down, Redmond.
We talked about getting Shane Elward the ball in space, and that's what they did on that. They gave him the pitch on the outside, and that allows him to choose where he cuts back. And he generally always chooses correctly, and he cut back to the hole, made a nice big gain, and the drive continues here at the 45-yard line.
So the Redmen big gain on 4th and 1. They get about 15 yards on the run from Shane Elward, who's had a big game today. Just under 9 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. Rometta will be a handoff to Danny Fleming, coming from the right to the left side of the field. Got about to the 41-yard line.
Again, the misdirection coming on the inside trap. Nice pickup by Fleming. One of the players we haven't mentioned a lot, I really should, is Antonio Capello, the center. He had a really rough game last week against Methuen, a game he probably wanted to put in the rearview mirror, and he has done a nice job controlling the middle of the line of scrimmage against this big Boston College line today.
And we haven't seen too many problems with the snap so far, as that was a big problem last week in the loss to Methuen. About 7 missed snaps. And before the snap here, we're going to get a timeout called by the Redmen.
A little bit of some confusion on the play and who was supposed to be in motion. It looked like Owen Gilligan came in motion right to left, and the play did not call for him to do that. So he essentially ran into a teammate, but they managed to call timeout before they got called for a penalty. So the first of 3 under the new rules, only 3 timeouts per half. But in this case, making sure that it saved 5 yards and keeping it a 2nd and 5 instead of a 2nd and 10.
So the Redmen coming back onto the field after the huddle with their head coach Brian Elward, who's in his 23rd season coaching the Redmen. So 2nd down and 5 from the 41-yard line for the Redmen. Rometta will go back under center with Olu in the backfield. It'll be a handoff to Olu, who gets stuffed right at the line of scrimmage. And a great defensive play by Ozzy Trapolo, the commit to Boston College next season.
They tried to use Pat Fleming as the lead blocker that time, and he got eaten up. And so when Olu tried to follow, there just wasn't a hole there. BC High did a nice job stuffing the middle.
So it'll be 3rd and about 6 as Olu lost about a yard on the second down run, as we're about 7:30 to go in the 4th quarter. Redmond with the 4-point advantage over BC High. And before the snap, we're going to get another whistle. So Redmond will use their second timeout of the second half.
They came out in I formation again with Olu at tailback and Fleming at fullback. But apparently Brian Elward did not like something he saw from the BC High defense. This is a key play. As you said, about 7.5 minutes to go in the game. If they can pick up another first down here, now you're talking about eating up another 3.5 minutes off the clock. And if they could drive down here and score, they might be able to really put this game out of reach, to make it a 2-score game with only a couple of minutes to play. So this is a key moment in the game right now. 3rd down and about 7.
So like Bill just said, it'll be a 3rd and 7 for the Redmen. Here, a crucial play here. Rometta under center will move Aylward in motion. It's a play action pass. He's got a receiver downfield, but a great defensive play by number 33, Dan Scorlio. Big play on 3rd down from the BC High defense.
That was a huge play by the BC defense, because you're absolutely right. Nolan Timmons had gotten behind the secondary, and if Rometta had been able to plant and throw, he had him wide open for a touchdown. But the rush came really for the first time today, and they were able to come up with the big sack, and they'll get the ball back here.
So the sack that lost about 14-15 yards. 4th down. Shane Elward will send this punt high into the air down the left sideline. It'll be out of bounds. There is a marker on the field around the BC High 36-yard line. Let's see what they call here.
They may catch a break. That was not the punt that Aylward wanted. He shanked it off to the left side.
So we'll see what the call is from the referee here. We wait for the signal.
Nobody on either team motioning, which as a rule you usually see.
Looks like
12 men on the field. Ineligible participation. 12 men on the field by BC High. Oh, that is a huge mistake.
So the Redmen will go. Seems to be some confusion on the field here. We just saw Rometta coming onto the field, but was then motion backed by the coaching staff. And this still will be BC High football. I don't know what the confusion was about on the field. Since
they're going to re-kick. They're going to re-kick here.
They're
okay, set up to punt again. But that turned out to be about a 10-yard penalty.
Yep. And since it was only 4th and 17, the Redmen could have had a chance to get back on offense, as number 10, Jacob Perez, will get the return, as there are multiple flags on the field, and there is a Redmen player down at around the 10-yard line, shaken up.
That was number 10, Jacob Perez.
Looks like number 68.
Yeah, that's going to be a block in the back against BC High. That was kind of a obvious block in the back, and it's going to bury BC High deep in their own territory, maybe around the 11 or 12-yard line. But you're right, there is a Tewksbury High player down, and they're looking at his leg right now.
We cannot see the number of the Redmen player that is down right now, as the trainers are over there taking a look at him.
Folks, it's stuff to put on your calendar.
Perhaps Tewksbury Access can use their drone camera on this one? No, we don't have a drone camera. Just checking on that.
Very needed. And walking off the field right now,
that's Aaron Conley.
Looking like number 68, Aaron Conley, the sophomore, being helped by both of the Redmond trainers to the sideline.
He is walking very, very gingerly.
As they were looking at his leg coming off the sideline. As Conley needs to be helped off the field. Hopefully he is okay. We'll get an injury report as soon as possible. But the Eagles have the ball.
It's going to be about their 8-yard line.
Pinned inside the 10 at their 8-yard line. It'll be a counter play to the right side and a big run needed for the BC High offense. And number 11, Aiden Sullivan, looked like he got the carry on that one.
Nice run by Sullivan on that play. Nice cutback to give him a gain of about 8 or 9 yards and a 2nd and short.
So 2nd and 2 for the Eagles. Just approaching the 5-minute mark here in the 4th quarter of play. The Redmond defense looking to get a big stop here to get the offense back on the field. Weisenhahn, another handoff to the left side. This one's going to be number 10, Jacob Perez. See if the referees will motion the first down here. And they will. The chains are moving down the sideline. First down, BC High.
So the clock will stop briefly as they move the chains, but under 5 minutes to go. And frankly, Tewksbury will take those 3, 4, 5-yard gains at this point.
So the Eagles now at their own 20-yard line. First down and 10. It's a pass over the right side of the field and is dropped by Patrick Dooley, a rare drop seen by the Eagles today.
He had Dooley open for about what probably would have been about a 5-6 yard gain on that play, but it looked like Dooley might have put his head up to look downfield before he had the ball in his hands.
And Weisenhahn is going to need his star receiver, Carter Rice, verbally committed to Dartmouth College just as a junior. It's going to have to look to rely on him in this type of situation with only 4:30 to go in the final quarter of play. Weisenhahn will drop back to throw. It's a throw over the right side. It is caught by McLeod, but a great defensive play by Shane Elward.
Yeah, Shane Elward coming up quick. And that's exactly what you need to do. You need to keep the receivers in front of you, close quickly, wrap them up, and keep those gains short. And in this case, they forced Boston College High to use another timeout.
So the Eagles don't get anything on that second down play. It'll be a big 3rd down coming up with 4:13 to go here in the 4th quarter.
At some point, Weisenhahn is going to have to start throwing the ball downfield. He's going to have to start taking some chances. He's going to have to start looking for Rice, as you said. And that's when we're going to find out if the Tewksbury High defense has really, well, frankly, they've really grown up a lot in this game. They've really grown up right in front of our eyes in this game. 2 touchdowns for BC High on their first 2 possessions. But since that, the Redmen have played shutdown defense the rest of the way. So if they can hold on here, this could be a real watershed moment for the season.
And a big statement for this defense as well. 3rd and 7 coming up for BC High. Weisenhahn will take the snap. It's a counter play to the right side, and he won't be going anywhere. He's taken by the back of his jersey. Looks like Owen Gilligan made the great tackle on that play. 4th down coming up.
Gilligan was in on that play. Fleming was in on that play, and they tried to fool the Redmen, and it didn't fool anybody, frankly. And it looks like BC High here is going to punt.
A very questionable call with under 4 minutes to go here in the fourth quarter. BC High only has 2 timeouts remaining, but they must really rely on their defense right now as they will punt the ball to the Redmen. And it's a high punt. Elward will catch the ball around the 34-yard line, looking for some room to the left side. He'll just step out of bounds casually, and that is where the Redmen drive will begin here with 3:25 to go.
A very, very smart play by Shane Elward. The Redmen have got the lead right now, and one of the few things that could hurt them is a fumble. And he was going to make sure that he got as much yardage as he could, but that he was not going to take a hit and potentially fumble. So he got up to about the 47-yard line, and now the Redmen have got a chance to run out the clock here with, I'd say 2 or 3 first downs. They could run the clock out.
As we've talked about multiple times in this game, the Redmen using multiple back sets and multiple backs to dethrone the BC High defense in this one, and they're going to need it here. Handoff to the right side to Shane DeRigo. Only got about a yard or two. A great defensive stop at the line of scrimmage.
Looked like that might have been a bigger play when DeRigo hit the hole. But number 40, the linebacker Anthony Golden for BC High came across and wrapped him up after, as you say, only about a gain of 1 or 2.
The clock continues to run. 2nd and 9 for the Redmen, as that was a big first down stop there from the Eagles, with the Redmen only gaining about a yard.
You'll start to see the Redmen using all of the play clock.
Using all 40 seconds of the new play clock. It's a play action pass to the left side. Rometta will look over the middle, and it is caught by Owen Gilligan, who will plunge forward for a few extra yards down to the 31-yard line.
Great catch by Gilligan, and what we saw on that play was Fleming went deep, and he drew the defensive backs with him, and it opened up the underneath to Gilligan, and Rometta, who rolled out to the left, made a perfect throw. And this is what we've seen. We've seen him when he's rolled out to the right or rolled out to the left. He's been very comfortable making some really nice throws.
And after these 2 interceptions we've seen after Ryan Rometta, he's definitely had a much better game here in the second half. We're seeing the quarterback that we did see dominate early in his Tewksbury football career coming up big for his varsity team now with 3 minutes to go. Redmen in great position right now as the Eagles just took their second to last timeout.
Something very interesting. Earlier in this quarter, there was a 4th and 1 that the Redmen had at their own 40, and Brian Aylward wasted no time in going for it, and they picked up a big first down on the play. And when faced, now granted, it was deeper in his own territory, but when BC High had a chance on 4th down, they punted.
So this is going to be a handoff to Kalu'olu, who got about 2 or 3 yards on the first down carry, but that's going to eat, importantly, more clock.
One of the things we talked about was Tewksbury not showing any intimidation, not being afraid of this team at all, and they haven't been. They've taken the fight right to BC High from the opening kickoff.
The Redmen looking to try to defeat BC High for the second straight time after taking them down 12-0 last season. Rometta under center. It'll be a pitch play to Olu, we rarely see, but caught that one. Got tripped up there by James Mahoney, which could have been a much bigger gain.
It could have been. BC High got, the defender got his hand just on Olu's foot, and that slowed him down just as much because he was starting to pick up a little momentum.
So with that, BC High is going to use their 3rd and final timeout of the ball game, as they have no other chances to stop the clock.
Well, this will be it. 2:07 to go, and they need this stop. And where the Redmen are inside the 30-yard line, one would think that if they had to go for it, if it came to 4th down, that they would go for it. So BC High needs 2 stops here to get the ball back, because one more first down and this ball game is over.
It's very hard to see the Redmen, if they do get stopped on this play, sending out Tyler Keogh, who has hit some long field goals before of 20 and 30 yards, but I don't know if a 45-yard kick could help the Redmen in any situation here.
No, I don't think there's any world in which Brian Aylward tries a long field goal. If there were a loss of yardage here, you might see a pooch punt, maybe. But I think it's more likely that they would go for it if they had to.
So a third down from the Redmen. It's a play-action pass. It's a back screen to Shane Elward, who does have room down the sideline, but he will get pushed out of bounds, and the clock will stop, which is big for BC High right now.
Yeah, they were able to push Aylward out of bounds, and that is a big play because now it is 4th down, and they were able to stop the clock and save probably 30 or 40 seconds right here. So it comes down to it. This is the ball game right now, 4th and 4 for the Redmen.
As we see, Rometta is on the field, and the Redmen will go for it here on 4th and 4 with 2 minutes to go in the ball game. So a first down would win the game for the Redmen, as the Eagles have no timeouts remaining. And before this snap, the Redmen are going to take a timeout.
Yeah, Brian Aylward would like to talk about this, get a play set up, talk about the fact that one of the things that they do not want to have is to put the ball on the ground or to have an interception, depending on what the play is. They want to execute well. They want, at the absolute worst case scenario, to not make the first down and turn the ball over on downs here, around the 30-yard line. So he's just making sure that everybody knows what their responsibilities are. And again, if they can execute this play, pick up 5 yards, they're going to be able to do something that very few teams in Eastern Massachusetts have been able to say, which is, as you said, beat Boston College High 2 years in a row.
Now, a great matchup. We've seen that the past few years that these teams have been matched up, produced some great football games, both here and at BC High School. Here's the game right here, 4th and 4. Redmen with a first down can clinch the ball game. It'll be a snap to Rometta. Look over the middle to Shane Elward. And that is a first down as he gets inside the 10-yard line. And the Redmen have mostly wrapped this one up. It'll take a few runs, and the Redmen will pick up their 2nd win of the season.
A classic Aylward pattern right there. The little curl in, sitting down right in the open area of the zone, bringing it into his body, making sure he makes it, and then picking up some extra yardage. Nice play, nice pass by Rometta, good protection. And right now we are about 3 snaps away from Tewksbury going to 2-1 on the year.
So Rometta will go under center now, as he will just step back a few yards, take the knee, and the Redmen in victory formation with 1:10 to go with the clock ticking.
What a tremendous victory this is for the Tewksbury High football team. They gave up touchdowns on the first 2 drives. It looked like they didn't have an answer for stopping this powerhouse Boston College High offense. They made some adjustments, got a couple of big stops in that second quarter, and have just dominated the second half.
And this is a much-needed win for the Redmen after the home thrashing last week, as they will pick up their first home win of the season in front of the home fans here at Doucette. Rometta will take another knee, and that'll do it for the end of the ball game, as the Redmen will move to 2-1 of the season as they defeat the BC High Eagles for the 2nd time in 2 years.
People are going to look at the box score, and they're going to see a big game from Shane Aylward, and he certainly had one. But this was a signature win for Ryan Rometta. This was the win that said, yep, I am ready to be the successor for the quarterback for this team and compete for an MVC championship, compete for a Super Bowl championship. This was huge for his confidence, and it was enormous for the confidence of the defense, which we saw some guys step up, some names that we hadn't been saying all year, and this team has picked up their biggest win of the season for sure, and they've made a statement. They've made a statement this afternoon.
As we definitely saw as we look at the BC High roster, this team definitely looks like the paper champions with just their height, their weight, and just as we've talked about the commitments to D1 colleges already, but they just didn't perform today when they need to, and the Redmen just played a much better football game than the Eagles did today.
Well, one of the things in the second half, we talked about needing to play just about perfectly. And in the second half, that's what Tewksbury did. They didn't make the mistakes. They didn't have the turnovers. And one of the things all game long, you didn't see them with penalties. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot with penalties. And so they showed that if this Tewksbury team executes, they can play with anybody. And I think that there's going to be a lot of teams in the MVC that see this score this afternoon or tonight or tomorrow, and they're going to take notice.
And some good news here for the Redmen as we see Aaron Conley with the ice pack on his right knee as he just crossed over the 50-yard line in crutches. We hope he will be back to form for next week's home game. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us here on this week's edition of Redmen Football. Again, I'm Andrew Delpiana. And thank you for joining me alongside today, Bill Gilman, as the Redmen pick up the 18-14 win over the BC High Eagles. We'll see you guys next week as the Redmen look to improve to 3-1 on the season.